What's up, guys? Airsoft Nomad here, bringing you another video. This is going to be what parts, what upgrades should you use, what parts should you be using, where to buy them, etc. So before I get into the main part of this video, I want to thank my sponsors, Jackal Tactical. They are linked down below. Thank you guys so much for sponsoring me. Hba Airsoft, I am a new ambassador for Hba Airsoft. I have a 10% discount code that'll be down in the description. So now that that is out of the way, and again, thank you for everybody who sponsors me. We'll get into the video. So upgrades, upgradable parts, what to use, what do we recommend? So basically, it comes down to two things. Are you going to keep your AEG as an AEG, or are you going to put a Hba engine in it? So if you're going to go AEG, basically, you can do basic upgrades, or you can fully upgrade a gun. So basic upgrades, and this is especially for somebody who's like, I don't have a lot of money to spend, but I want to start upgrading my gun, and I'll do it little by little. So typically, the first thing I recommend anyone upgrades is their bucking. So for Sean as well, because Sean doesn't know a whole lot about upgrading guns. So the bucking is the rubber that creates the air seal between your barrel and your hop-up. So most guns come with their generic brand, you know, Crytek has their own brand buckings, orange bucking, you know, whatever. Basically, there's 3 buckings that I would personally recommend that I have ran. I have gotten good performance out of. The cheapest of those is the G&G green bucking, perfect for cold weather. They are $5 or $6 a bucking. The next would be the maple leaf macaron, something like that. Macaroni. That is a really good bucking. They run about $8 to $10. And then the highest end, which is what I run during the whole year other than winter, would be the Promi purple bucking. That runs about $15. So it is on the expensive end of buckings, but the bucking creates that air seal. So if you have a good air seal, you're going to get better consistency, accuracy, range out of your replica instantly by just upgrading the bucking. It is a pretty simple install. I will tell you though, if you plan a flat hop or R hop, you're going to have to shave down your bucking. That is not a hard process to do. I do have videos up of me upgrading my own guns doing that. You just have to shave them down. So that would be the first thing I'd recommend. So if you're like 15 bucks, 5 bucks, whatever, I have more money to spare, what should I do next? Next thing you should do is your barrel.
I was going to say that.
So the next thing would be your barrel. So most guns, stock, even Crytek's, come with a brass barrel. Nothing wrong with that. But they're usually 6.05 diameter, which is a wide bore diameter. Basically, what you're looking for in a barrel, I can recommend brands. I will recommend brands. You just want a metal stainless steel barrel. Doesn't need to be lathed. I personally run Prometheus barrels, 6.03. They're $60 a pop, so they're not cheap, but they are quality. And a lot of guys in this industry, like Dutch and Airsoft Alphons, that most people I'm sure know who they are and watch their videos, they run Prometheus barrels. The next one would be the ZCI barrels. They run about $30. There's 6.02 barrels, the Prometheus 6.03, another very quality barrel. I also really like the Mad Bull barrels. They are actually a like black outer barrel, but they're still steel. They run about $30 as well, and you can get 6.03 or 6.01 with them. So that's just the tightness of the barrel. But basically, you're just looking for metal. So those would be my 3 recommendations. Again, not a super hard upgrade to do, so it'll be pretty simple and easy. If you have any questions on that, I can answer it. So after that, I would recommend a hop-up.
I know about hop-ups too. I do understand what that is.
So basically, your hop-up obviously hops the BB. So base model guns mostly have a rotary style hop-up. Now, if you have a Crytek or Avalon, even G&G hop-ups are pretty good. You really don't need to upgrade them. Now, if you're gonna upgrade it, I recommend for the cheaper stuff would be a ProWin. They run about 20 or 30 bucks. They are a plastic hop-up, so they're really not anything special compared to what you already have, but it is, I would say, just slightly better quality. And the one I would really recommend the most if you're running a version 2 gearbox, this is for version 2 only, which would be, if you don't know what that means, so basically if you have an M4, M16 style replica, this is you. So it would be the Max hop-ups, and that would be the Pro or the Sport, or they have the ME Pro, which basically the ME Pro is just a slightly different color, and you can also get it to be a tracer. So basically, the question you need to ask yourself is if you plan to keep upgrading your stuff. And when I say that, I mean if you plan on R hopping or flat hopping, which I recommend you do, you want to go with the max hop up. Now they are $60 for the hop up, so they're pricey, but the max hop up is designed for R hop, so it runs perfect for that. Again, you're gonna be able to hop very heavy BBs and keep that dial down pretty low, which helps you with your consistency and your range and accuracy. So that is what I would recommend, would be the max hop up, either pro or sport.
None of mine are R-hop, they're all flat hop, but I do run the max hop and I think it works fine.
Yeah, flat hop or R hop, the max hop is like perfect for that.
Yeah, and they're very simple. They're numbered.
Yeah, and they're metal, so they're very high quality. They're actually aluminum. I think they advertise it, which is a type of metal, obviously, but just throwing that out there. They're a rotary style, very easy to manipulate.
I like it because it makes it kind of easy. You know, hey, I'm usually running at a 4, so you can kind of keep track of that, and
then you know what BB weight, what to run your replica at what BB weight.
Yeah, with what BB weight. Yep.
So like I already know like how I rattled off in another video. Like I know like what weight what I run my pop up at.
Yeah.
So that would be the first 3 upgrades I would do. So if you spend maximum amount of money, so $60 for the hop up, $60 for the barrel, $15 for the bucking for the Promi Purple, so you're at $135 for upgrades.
I'm glad he did the math.
So if you spend the $135 with upgrades, you're gonna instantly increase range, increase accuracy, better air consistency, which is gonna give you much better consistency coming out of the barrel, which in turn gives you better accuracy.
It's huge. It's a huge
difference. A massive, like you're gonna instantly, if you do those 3 upgrades right now to any replica that is a base model replica, non-upgraded stock, you're gonna be like, holy shit, I've been missing out. So if you're in the AG realm, if you're going HPA, that would be it, and so, other than just the engine, which we'll get that in at the end here. If you're going AG and you crack open your gearbox, I highly recommend once you open it, you just do it. And when I say just do it, I mean upgrade everything. So in your gearbox, if you're wondering, well, what's in the gearbox? No, man. You have 2 heads. One is a cylinder head. One is a piston head. You have your piston and your cylinder, and then you have your gears, and you have your tappet plate, and you have your engine or your motor. So I'm throwing a lot out there. If you need to slow down the video or want me to put this in the comments of all the parts, but that's basically it. So when it comes to upgrading, like I said, upgrade everything. So if you're gonna go cheaper, would be the SHS upgrade, which comes with the cylinder, the piston, and both heads. That runs $50. If you want to do a full-on upgrade like top-of-the-line shit, I would get the Kratos piston, that's $30. I would get the Angel Custom cylinder, that's $20. I would get the Max heads, they're $20 a piece. And then I would get the Garter tappet plate that runs for $12. So that would upgrade everything other than your gears. For your gears, it depends on what ratio you want to run. Basically, simply put, a standard ratio is 18:1. That is what most replicas are going to come with stock. If you do like, I want snappy, a shit semi-auto, and a good rate of fire, 13:1. If you're running a DMR build, which means it's going to be a high stress build, high FPS, you're looking at 18:1s or 24:1 gears. Brands for that would be SHS would be what I'd recommend, or Rocket Airsoft. They run for $25 a set. If you want to go higher end, it would be the Prometheus gears, and they are $60 a set. And then your engine or your motor would be either long type or short type. If it's a version 2, it's most likely a long type. Basically, if you're not going to run your stock motor, which most stock motors are 25K or 30K, I recommend the ASG Boost 30K or 40K. If you're running a high like FPS DMR build, I would recommend the ASG Infinity 22K or 18K. Pretty much the lower the number, 18 or 22K, it means it's a high torque motor. It means it can pull a high strung up spring, which would be like a DMR style spring. If you're running a normal 1.5 joule replica 400 FPS, you're probably going to shoot for that 30K, or if you really want some snappy full auto, like high rate of fire, I'm talking like 30 rounds a second, you're probably going to be looking at a 40K motor. The motors, if you get the standard ASG Boost, they are 30 or 40 bucks. If you get the ASG Infinity, they're $60. So basically, to sum this all up, if you go cheap, you're probably talking about investing another $200 into your replica. If you want to go expensive and get top of the line, you're going to be spending about another $300 to upgrade the gearbox. So,
but it's still a even if you go cheap, it's still going to be a massive difference. Am I correct in saying that?
Absolutely. Because... So, like your base model stuff, unless you're buying Crytek or Avalon, the biggest thing with upgrading the stuff is you're getting a much better air seal, which gives you much better consistency. With the piston is the big thing, you're getting steel teeth, which means it has much better durability. It's going to last a lot longer. It's going to handle heat a lot better. And it's just overall a better system.
So let's say we're going on the low end upgrade. What'd you say?
SHS upgrade kit.
And the cost of that
was $50. And that comes with the heads, the piston, and the cylinder.
So for $50, plus what we talked about earlier, it was like $115?
$135.
Okay, so like
$185.
$185.
And gears are $25, so you're looking at $210.
Okay, so that being said, if you buy a entry level, like let's say we did the unboxing video and the Colt, you could buy that. I think it's like $180 for the gun.
Yeah.
And you buy this upgrade stuff, you're still way under $500.
Yeah, you're gonna be right around you're gonna be in that $400 to $500 price range for a fully built AEG.
So you could do that, or you can go and buy what's a brand new Crytek, or I mean,
a brand new Crytek is $400.
And I think an Avalon is
$440.
So it's almost better to buy the low end gun and upgrade it if you're comfortable doing that.
So at that point, once you get a low end replica and fully upgrade it, you're just using the shell.
Yeah.
Basically. So the replica, it's almost like a sleeper build. So you buy a G or that Colt or whatever, and you basically create a sleeper build AEG.
Can you buy just shells on e-bike? I've never looked.
I don't think so. You can't just buy a gun with nothing in it.
That would be something.
But that would be something that Paul at Jackal should look into and market it and sell it. And I'll put it on my YouTube.
I was getting to that. It's almost like, you're buying a gun because you want to upgrade it, but you got to buy the whole gun, and now you're just throwing everything away.
Yeah, you're literally taking everything out of it and just throwing it to the breeze.
Okay. Well, that being said, maybe you could hop on your local Facebook page. They don't sell on Facebook, but somewhere, and buy a crappy used gun, and you could still upgrade it.
Absolutely.
I'm saying if you don't have $500 or $600 to go buy a brand new gun, you maybe get a used one that's only for $50. You dump the internals, you're still going to be under $300.
Yeah. The only other upgrade that you could do if you really want to maximize what you have is to put a gate tighten in it, which is $150,
right?
Or a gate aster, which is $100.
I don't have that in any of my guns. I don't see the huge...
It basically just allows you to semi-lock your gun, put 3-round bursts on it. It does help it snap your stuff. Yeah, I mean, again, this is talking if you're going, if you're like, I'm going to buy a gun and I'm going to upgrade the shit out of this. That's the upgrade you want to do.
That, to me, that's... I mean, hey, if you want it, cool, but I know, like in paintball, that was one of the big things towards the end of me playing was, hey, we can adjust this on our phone. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
Unless you're that guy who really thinks it's cool to pull your phone out and adjust it. But I have heard good things about the gate tighten.
Yeah, I have gate tighten in mine. My wife's CRB now has the gate tighten in it. I will say, if you're going to do these installs on your own, all the stuff I said before the gate tighten is not hard to do. Couple hours of your time, search some YouTube videos, boom, it's there. The Titan install, you've got to Dremel a bunch of shit, and it's just really tedious and annoying. I had to do it.
Is that for every gun, though? For everything?
It's not every gun, but if you're putting the gate Titan, so the gate aster is easier to install. If you're doing the gate Titan, it's just a matter of fitting it, because the trigger board is in 2 pieces.
Okay.
So when you put it together, it's a thick boy. So you got to shave down your gearbox to be able to still close the gearbox.
I'm pretty sure, and I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I'm pretty sure that the KWA Ronin, the newer series, I know the T10, is gate tighten ready. It's supposed to be drop-in.
It might be. I don't know personally, so I'm not going to say one way or the other because I don't want to give out bad information.
It might be.
But it could be. But besides the point, if you are local to the area, you can go to Jackal Tactical. They have full-time techs who will build your gun for you. So if you don't want to do it yourself, no sweat, they'll do it. There is obviously an hourly charge, but they are pretty fast, efficient. So if you want to just have them build it, I've had them build my guns. Some of them, they built your guns.
They built all my guns.
Yeah, so there's nothing wrong with doing that. I know Evike also offers that service. If you aren't local, you can buy a gun from Evike and just add it on, and they'll just build it for you before they even ship it. If you already own the replica and you want to send it to them, you can do that as well.
Yeah, I think Amped will do that too.
Yeah, there's not just Evike. You got Amps, you got Airsoft Junkies. They all have custom built stuff that you can just buy with all that stuff I just said already in the gun. So obviously you're gonna pay.
You're gonna pay for their tech service.
Yeah, you're paying them to do it.
Yeah.
But if you're not comfortable doing it, which I understand, you're gonna pay more for it. But I think on the upgrade side of the AGs, that pretty much covers it. If you're gonna do an HPA build, so if you are brand new to HPA, you don't own HPA, you have nothing to do with HPA, this is your first time doing an HPA, whatever replica you buy, most likely a version 2, which is an M4 M16, the most popular replica that's sold, you're gonna do the barrel bucking hop-up upgrade that I already said, in our hop it or flat hop it. Most likely our hop, it's what I recommend. And then you're gonna put either a Polar Star or a Wolverine in it. So let's just say you're like, okay, I'm gonna do HPA Nomad. I would say do the barrel, the bucking, the hop up, put a Polar Star Jack or a Polar Star F2 in the replica. Pretty easy install to do. I think when I built my G&G, for the first time, it took me like 2.5 hours to build the whole entire thing. Now that I know how to do it, because I've never done it before, I could probably do it in like an hour and a half.
They're supposed to be drop-ins, right?
Yeah, it's just a drop-in. Literally, you just pull everything out of the gearbox, all that crap, just put it in there, close the shit back up, put it back together.
Do you have to do any work to get the air hose out the handle?
No, it just connects right into the back of the engine. You just fold it down and push it right back out the grip.
Okay, so most of them are set up to have that airline come out.
Yep, it's not confusing at all. And then with HPA, obviously you need a tank, a reg, and a line. Most people forget about that, but that is an expense.
I do understand all of that.
So that is an expense that you're going to incur. So when you look at Hba engines, you have the Polar Star Jack, which is going to run you about $300. You have the Polar Star F2, which is going to run you about $400. You have the Polar Star Kythera, which is going to run you $200, and
they all do something
$20. Basically, the Polar Star Jack is a great engine. Polar Star F2 is a great engine. You just have more ability to adjust things than, say, the Jack. And the Polar Star Kythera is a semi-only mechanical Polar Star engine, which is why it's cheaper. So you only have semi-auto with that. Perfect for DMRs.
But it's also nice because you don't need a battery to run it then.
You don't need a battery. You just need the air.
Yeah.
If you're looking at the Wolverine engines, I know the Inferno is a pretty good one. I personally don't own a Wolverine, so I don't know a lot about them, but an install would technically be whatever. It would be the same. So, tank, reg, line. So saying those numbers there, so there's that. Your tank, if you get a 68 4500 tank, you're looking at probably like $150 for the tank.
Depending on if it's steel, carbon
fiber.
fiber.
If you're buying an Arrow or a Ninja, this is all going to vary. But say you just go for an Arrow or a Vulcan tank, they're the more affordable ones. They're $150.
I would 100% recommend, and this comes even from, I always go back when I play paintball, but that's what I came from. Vulcan makes an excellent ultralight tank. Even Empire makes a very good
that's another brand.
tank.
Yeah.
That's what I have right now as Empire. I loved my Vulcan ultralights.
Yeah.
It's just right now with COVID, it's super hard to get anything from Vulcan. I personally, I've had many Ninja tanks. They're great. The regs on them are phenomenal, but I would not recommend a new player purchasing a Ninja tank because they are super expensive.
I run Arrow. They're $150. That same tank from Ninja is going to run you like $220.
Yeah.
So you're spending an extra $70 for Ninja.
Yeah. And check your size on the tanks too. Like the 6845 is a pretty standard tank, especially if you're gonna switch back and forth between playing Airsoft and playing paintball. The 6845 is a perfect tank.
Yeah.
It's gonna run good in both. You just want to make sure that the tank you have fits in whatever bag you're going to be carrying that tank with on the field. A 6845 it's not a huge tank, but it's not a small tank.
It's kind of like the industry standard.
It is the
tank.
Industry standard tank.
Now, of course, there are 48, 4500, 60, 4,500, 13 4,500. There's 90 4,500. There's 120 4,500. As you start getting up in these bigger tanks,
you can also do 3,500 or 3,000.
Yeah, so there's 3,000 tanks. I'm saying 4,500 because that is more of the industry standard, what you want to go with, but you can get a 3,000 tank.
Plus, you're gonna get more use out of it. You're gonna be. I mean, I know I can play all day at an event with my 68-45.
Yeah, I mean it lasts. Again, I mean it's going to depend on how much you're shooting, but if you're shooting conservatively enough, it should last you quite a while. The regs, so HBA regs is what I run. They're $100, very easily adjustable. You can get into like the Polar Star PRS Mini. There's like the Wolverine Storm. They're gonna run you more like 150 for the reg.
Yeah, but again, I will say this: regs are not something you want to slack on.
Yeah, I mean, I run the HBA regs because that's what Jackal sells. I can say good things about them. I have 2 of them. They run great. I mean,
they're a little bit of a pain in the ass to adjust if you need to adjust it.
It takes a special tool to adjust them.
Don't lose the tool because if you do, it's a pain.
It sucks. And then the only other thing you need is the line. So I use the amped gripped line lines. They're like, I want to say $35 for a 36-inch line. I have 2 lines. I've yet to have a problem with mine after playing with a Polar Star for a year pretty regularly, like twice a month.
Yeah, I think they're all standard size too, right?
You can get 36-inch or like 42-inch,
okay.
But the 36-inch is like the standard. Like,
yeah, 42,
I guarantee yours is a 36.
Yeah, 42 is pretty long. I mean, I don't know what setup you would.
I run a 36, and I can still switch arms with ease. And then the only other thing with running, obviously, an HBA system is in where you're going to put the tank. Of course, you can backpack it, or they do make, Walton makes that carrier. It's a molly. You just put it right on your vest.
Yeah, that's
like
what I started with.
Satchel almost, and just stick it down in there. And then you just have to be aware of the fact you're obviously running a line.
That's what I started with, but personally, I like the backpack. It's way more convenient. You can also use it to carry some extra stuff in it if you need it.
Bottles of BBs, whatever. Yeah. So I mean, you can go either way with it. Personally, I have both a fully upgraded AAG and I have Polar Star builds. Personally, I like Polar Star builds. I think HPA is master race. They're much more easier to maintain.
Yeah.
Once you build them, the shit's built. You don't have to worry about nothing.
Have to clean it.
You don't have to
clean your
barrel, but nothing crazy. And they just work and they run, and you're so adjustable. If I wanted to play at an indoor field, I just turn my reg down. If I wanted to turn it into a DMR, I don't have to do shit other than just turn my reg up.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
That being said, I am interested in an MTW, and I know you are too. I just... my Polar Stars works so well, I just can't see grabbing one right now. So I think it really comes down to your personal...
I think if you don't want to build... If you're sitting here going like, I don't want to mess with all that shit, I don't want to build one, screw that. Yeah. Just buy an MTW. They're $700. It's already built. Now, including that $700, if you don't have a tank and reg in line, you do need to buy that, which is going to obviously accrue another $300 in cost.
But it's done.
It's done. Once you have a tank, it's not like that tank's just for that gun. You can use it with any replica that you have a HPA system in. So if you already have a tank and you're like, I don't want to invest money or build my own, just buy an MTW, $700. Boom.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have to look into it yourself and decide what you want. I mean, we know a bunch of guys on First Legion. They all run MTWs. Yeah. They're 100% MTW. We got guys on HAVOC. We're pretty much the only ones who run Polar Stars, and there's a reason that they're
the number one engine in HBA is Polar Star.
Yeah.
There's a reason for it. I mean, they just work and they shoot great, and I can't say enough good things about them. Again, just like with the AGs, if you want a Polar Star and you don't want to buy an MTW because you want a Polar Star F2 or Jack or Kythera, just go to Jackal. If you're local, they'll build it. If you're not local, Amped, Airsoft Junkies, you can buy them from them directly with the stuff already installed. Obviously, you're going to pay for the install from them, but you can do it that way. So I think that pretty much sums up the upgrade game between AG and HPA. If you have any questions, just comment down below. I'll be more than happy to answer them. And thanks for watching. Cut.